The steps from the terrace in 5 minutes. Thank you. Greetings, welcome to Markeaton, a place with a good Anglo-Saxon name. The Vikings, of course, well, they arrived here 300 years later. They gave the town of Derby its name. And, well, here at Markeaton, there was once a watermill down by what's now the Breeder Pond. We know this because of the Domesday Book that tells us it was still being used in the late 1000s AD. And, well, back in the country of Norway, there's a folk tale about a miller. And this man, well, he'd been earning a good living for many years. The business had gone well. However, lately, he'd been having problems. All kinds of difficulties. And he'd begun to suspect that there might be a supernatural agency involved. Because, well, the first of his problems came one morning when he checked on the firewood he'd recently cut, stacked very neatly, to be used the next day. Come the morning, it was scattered everywhere, and he thought that perhaps this was due to an animal, like perhaps a bear or a wild boar. However, the following day, his millstones, the great cairns, they were scattered over a wide area. It took him hours to bring them back to the mill. And, well, one day, when he was milling the wheat supplied by the local farmers, then he just got going. The mill was working nicely, and the door blew open. A great wind blew the flour everywhere, all around the mill and all over the miller. However, this was not the worst of it, because the most annoying thing that happened very often, in fact, every time he started the mill up, was that the wheel jammed. Now, he couldn't see any reason for it. He checked it many times, but it was getting to be so much of a problem that people in the village were starting to complain. They weren't getting the flour they expected. And therefore, one day, having decided that he'd had quite enough of all this, he took some pitch in an iron pot, put it on the fire, and let it come to the boil. And while he was doing that, then he got the mill going, and the wheels started to grind. However, all too soon, the mill wheels stopped. And he went over to where the wheel was, looked through the space in the planks at the water, and it almost looked as though a hand was holding the wheel, preventing it from moving. And so he went to the door and opened it wide, and there in the doorway there stood a terrible troll of the kind called a Kvideland, a mill growler that frequently inhabit the area around mills. And it stepped through the doorway. It was quite a short creature, heavily muscled, with unnaturally long arms and great grasping hands. And the troll opened its mouth and kept opening it. And eventually, its lip was as high as the top of the doorway, and its lower jaw dragged along the ground. And he could see that with one gulp, it would swallow him up. Now, without a moment's hesitation, as quick as he liked, he turned around and grasped the iron pot full of the pitch. Just as the troll was saying, "How do you like my big gape?" "How do you like your hot porridge?" said the miller, hurled the pot, with the hot pitch and all, down its throat. With a howl, the troll disappeared, shot straight out of the doorway, and was never seen again. And from that time onwards, the miller was able to do his work in peace. And that's the end of the tale. Thank you.
Very good.
Oh well, this will be up on YouTube. The end of the sale. Thank you.